Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily Update, my 1000 days challenge. This is day 652, so let's get things started. Alright, so first of all, the balance remains the same, no change in terms of balance, update structure wise. And if you look in terms of the weekly market closing itself, there's also no change in terms of market structure across the board. S&P 500 and Nasdaq tentatively still looks to be, technically speaking, neutral in terms of the higher high and lower lows form. But bear in mind that definitely form a very sharp drop. But we do see a very nice support, especially if you look at the weekly closing itself. So switching on to the weekly chart, what you do see over here is a very nice supportive red hammer candlestick. Of course, we would definitely prefer it to be green, which means we push to a higher high than we recently started. But very nice, this is still a very supportive candlestick. You can see a very nice bounce at the 0.32 Fibonacci retracement level over here as well. So if we do drop further, then definitely this 0.618 along with the whole range of moving averages support on the weekly chart could be there to be supportive as well if we do fall over there. Then I'll be very keen to add in terms of much larger position size in that sense. And if you look in terms of Nasdaq, similarly, same thing from some sort of support at a 250 simple moving average on the weekly chart. So seemingly that's a very good sign, especially when we already have consecutive 6 weeks of dropping itself. So I do see some sort of weak bounce incoming in the coming week or two. So let's see how things goes. But it may be weak. If it is weak, then potentially we could still see much further downside. If it's actually extremely strong in the coming week itself, 1 to 2 weeks, then we could potentially have a reversal and continuation pattern itself. Of course, we could also consolidate for extended period for the next coming this year itself until perhaps the end of year or even next year itself before we have a strong convincing break on the following year, which is like 2024 in that sense. And as for China's stock market itself, you can see that price action is remaining relatively flat, especially for KWEB itself. KWEB already consolidated for extended, I think, 8 or 9 weeks period over here. So I do see signs of a consolidated accumulation over here, simply because we got low, we got a higher low over here. So we actually have a very nice bounce over there and break this 50 simple 20 exponential moving average on the weekly chart, along with the 50 simple moving average on the daily chart itself, and closes above it. On both of these charts, there will very much be a very clear kind of a reversal in trend that's more likely to take place in itself. So I'm now over here where we consolidated over here. I did mention saying that it's more likely to break in a sense, especially when maintaining over below this. And we also haven't seen the straight right out of bottom cover formation over here. We see a very clear bullish divergence sign forming in that sense. All right, and then finally for Bitcoin itself, sadly we did not manage to close at the 30K mark again today on the daily chart. So for Bitcoin, the weekly candlestick definitely doesn't look bullish at the moment itself. So we definitely do want it to close as high as possible towards the 30 to 33K region itself. Of course, the higher it is, the better. The reason why is we also do want it to form somewhat like a similar weekly candlestick close, like the S&P 500 and Nasdaq itself. That will perhaps give you a much more chance of a strong bounce in the coming week ahead. Otherwise, I do see a big bounce towards this region itself, and then we could potentially have another drop, in which case I'll be very keen to enter a short setup over here, especially if we climb very slowly, face a very strong rejection, and then I'll be keen to enter a short setup. Otherwise, that's more or less about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.